The Curses and the Covenants, a History Weaver Mystery Book 2 by Connie Worden. Read by the author. Chapter 37. February 22nd, 1899. Joshua has advised my confinement as we don't know when baby may arrive. That day may not be until the end of March, and so I find myself chafing at the forced inactivity when I still feel so well and able to be active and useful. The winter seems long now, and the short days and long nights burdensome. When I was out on the sleigh and feeling myself to be of some use, busy all the day, I didn't mind the winter at all this year. But now, barely 1 week into my confinement, I am restless and can't settle to anything. I should be hard at my needlework and preparing a layette for my little one, but I find myself wanting to pace a rut in the carpet instead. Ah well, doctor's orders must be followed. What a crazy evening, I reflected on the drive home. What a mix of emotions, fear and anger I wasn't sure what to call it. Something more tender than fear and anger, that was for sure. I couldn't possibly be falling for Larry, could I? Not with what I still felt for Pete. But what did Pete feel for me? That was the unanswered and unanswerable question. Maybe that unanswered question was what was keeping Larry in the forefront of my mind all the rest of that evening. And as I got ready for bed, and as I shut off the lights and lay in the dark, eyes wide open, turned toward the ceiling. It was so nice to know where I stood for a change instead of all the guessing games I was playing with Pete. Larry wasn't hiding his feelings. And maybe Pete had no feelings to hide. That was the most likely possibility by far, I decided. Could I fall for Larry? I tossed and turned and turned and tossed, the cyclical thoughts not slowing down enough to let sleep sneak in between their cracks. Was sleep not going to make an appearance that night at all? I checked the digital clock on the nightstand. 3 o'clock in the morning. This was not good. At least I had no classes in the morning. If it ended up being a sleepless night, at least I could nap the next day. My thoughts drifted naturally from my awakening feelings for Larry to the incident in the boathouse. Who could have locked me in, and why? Was there any connection between my computer and accounts being hacked, the house being broken into, and me being locked in the boathouse? Did it all have something to do with Julia's death? And where did the discovery of Danny's body fit in with all the other pieces? As they have the habit of doing, thoughts turn dark and dreadful in the middle of a sleepless night. The idea gradually occurred to me that maybe I had cleared Larry too hastily. He'd made it very plain how he felt about me. Had he made it too plain? Was it possible that Larry was, in fact, scary? What if he was stalking me? He taught computer classes, after all. He must be fairly good on computers. What if he was the hacker, just trying to find out more about my personal life by getting into my computer? What if he'd set up my rescue from the boathouse because he knew that that was one way to heighten emotions and get me thinking about him in a new way? For some reason, probably the numbers on the clock and my wide-open eyes still watching them, any terrifying idea that passed through my mind suddenly took on the form of reality. Whatever awful suspicions I had must be true. I felt almost physically nauseous at the thought that Larry was not who he seemed to be. Come on, Ange, I cautioned myself. Get a grip. Think about it. There are too many strange things going on. It seems like they'd all be connected, and Larry can't have had anything to do with some of them. The main ones, of course, were Julia's death and Danny's discovery. Larry hadn't even lived in Beaver Row when Danny went missing, and there was no obvious link between Larry and Julia and her death. Perversely, suspicion was slow to let go of its grip on my mind, however hard I tried to pry it away. Larry used to be friends with Joe and that other guy and Danny. I wonder if Larry's ever been into drugs. My mind busily formulated an alternate theory, remembering Uncle Jim's words about drugs being at least a contributing factor in Danny's murder. Larry at least knew Julia. He could be the connection between Julia and Danny, and the old bridge being the site of both their deaths. I couldn't imagine what the connection would be, but there could be one. My thoughts drifted back to the page that had been torn out of Julia's journal. If Julia herself hadn't cut it out for some reason, then whoever was at the bottom of all my unanswered questions thought that what she'd written there was important enough to risk stealing it. It must hold some kind of key to the whole mystery. Sleep was a lost cause for the night, anyway. I snapped on my bedside lamp and got up to pull open the drawer where I'd been keeping the piece of paper Pete had given me, with the missing words from Julia's journal on it. I read it over and over, every wheel in my brain spinning like mad. I killed a man once. He died in childbirth. My birth. I should have died instead. I'm the cursed one. But I didn't die, he did. Why not my death? I'm only nothing, after all, unless the cursed one counts as something. Was that cradle he laid me in the curse that set the stage for the rest of my life? Is that why I am the way I am? I've never known why until I was told. It was my aunt who told me the story of the man who died, the man I killed. I didn't mean to kill him. And maybe it wasn't me at all. Maybe I could have given him life. Maybe he could have given me life. Maybe we could have found life together instead of this nothingness. Why any of us? Why anything? Why a universe at all? It's all nothing. It means nothing. But maybe we can be together at last, somehow, in the silence and the stillness. Nothingness. Peace. Maybe nothingness is peace and peace is nothingness. I don't see any other way. But if we're to have peace, I want the lights and the perfections to show the way. Enough of secrets and lies. Whatever any of it is, the nothing that is, those are not nothings. Secrets and lies are somethings that taint all the nothing. There must be a revelation. The Urim and the Thummim must bring it. I will be the Urim and the Thummim. Maybe that will be my only purpose. Maybe that will be the only purpose my life will serve, the only purpose my death will serve. But it is something. It's not nothing. I'm not nothing after all. Suddenly my head jerked up as I saw it. I saw the key. I didn't have all my questions answered, but I knew where to start looking for answers. I checked the time again. 6:30. It was early, but it wasn't the middle of the night anymore. Not too early to make a phone call.